Galilea was hands down one of my favorite restaurants.
That's a lot.
We'll make it easier for you. We're going to go to Barcelona and try the viral TikTok food spots, and then we'll let you know based on taste, vibe, and price, so you can choose which ones you want to try out.
First up is Colom Restaurant. This has the best paella, I don't know how to say it, in Barcelona. Make sure to come on early so you can stand in the line because you can't make any reservations.
We have the padron peppers, which Denise loved. Then we have the mussels marinera, which was very good, rich in flavor. Then the paella for 10 euros only for 2 people, which is pretty good price-wise. And then we have the Catalan creme brulee, which was quite cinnamony, but still very good.
Now it's time for our ratings for Colom Restaurant. This restaurant lives up to its reputation. We give it a 4 stars because the food was delicious.
For the vibe, we're going to give it a 4. It was cozy and it was definitely a vibe.
We left very full, only paid 45 euros. We think it's a steal, therefore give it a 5 stars. TikTok seems to be right, guys. We definitely recommend you to go.
Okay, next up we have Cañete. And if you are searching for food in Barcelona on TikTok, this place is definitely going to pop up.
We started off with the bologna cured ham, but honestly guys, I was so excited to try the squid sandwich that everyone was raving about on TikTok. It was really good, but I don't think I'd crave it in the future. Next we tried the razor clams, and it was pretty average. Franco liked it more than I did.
Our ratings for Cañete. So starting off with the taste, we're going to give it a 3. The squid burger was memorable, but we haven't really thought about the other 2 as much. The vibe was really good though, so it was a 4. And the price, we're going to give it a 3 because we didn't really order that much and it was 52 euros. Unfortunately, we left Cañete a little disappointed, but we feel like they're a victim of their own success because we just saw too many TikToks that put our expectations too high. But on to the next, and it's Anita. They have really good gelato, but that's not why we're here. We're here for the chocolate Dubai mess. Don't know what else to call it, but look at me munching this thing. It was actually pretty good.
Now that Franco's mouth is finally closed, let's move on to our ratings for Anita. Now we're big fans of Dubai chocolate, so we're going to give it a 4 out of 5. The vibe is pretty much pick up and go, so we're going to give it a 3 out of 5 since you can't really sit down. And as for the price, we think it's pretty hefty. We paid €10.50 for 1 cup, so we're going to give it a 2 out of 5. Overall, if you think Dubai chocolate is not overrated, we definitely recommend. Spoiler alert, this was my favorite restaurant by far, Bar Brutal. We started off with Iberian pork ham and it was so delicious. We then had fresh oysters and it was so juicy and fresh, definitely recommend. And then my all-time favorite, guys, the bone marrow with razor clams and fried bread. It was so good. Then we had roast pork and then Angus beef cheek, and this was so soft.
On to our ratings for Bar Brutal. Starting off with the taste, this is our first big 5 stars. It was really good.
As for the vibes, we're going to give it a 4 out of 5 because it was giving off speakeasy vibes and everyone seemed to have a good time.
3 stars for the price, coming in at 88 euros. It was a bit more on the expensive side, but we would definitely still recommend it as the price matched the quality. Next up is John Cake, and this came up on our feeds a lot of times when looking for places to eat in Barcelona. We decided to go for the classic cheesecake as it was highly recommended. Okay, my reaction on John Cake. I would definitely stand in the line, but it's very cheesy and I wish it was a bit more sweet. I think this is how it's traditionally supposed to be made, but I just like my stuff a bit more sweet. Would I get it again? Yes. Would I stand in the line? Yes.
Moving on to our ratings for John Cake. We give the taste a 4 out of 5 because it was good and doesn't taste like any other cheesecake. As for the vibe, you can't sit down and eat the cake and you're expected to stand in line, so we're giving it 2 stars. So they priced the cheesecake based on the weight of your cheesecake and we only had a small piece since we're full, so we paid €5.30. So we're going to give it a 3.5 stars.
Our next spot is conveniently located right next to the Sagrada La Familia, and we would highly advise visiting the beautiful church and then going to Bo and Me, grabbing a pastry, getting a coffee. We opted for the pistachio croissant and a chocolate brownie.
Moving on to the ratings for Bo and me. We give the taste a 4 out of 5 because all the pastries genuinely tasted really good. And for the vibe, you couldn't really sit down, so a 2 out of 5. As for the price, we give it a 4 out of 5 because we got 5 items and we only paid €18.50, which is pretty good if you ask me. If you are heading to La Sagrada La Familia, we definitely recommend you to visit this place.
Churreira is up next. Again, we have no idea if we are pronouncing these things correctly, but we had to try churros while we were in Spain, or how I like to call them, churros. But we went for the normal churros with a chocolate dip and one with Kinder inside. And one thing that got me off the bat was that it was not as sweet as I expected.
We were quite sad about rating the churros because it wasn't as good as expected. We definitely left a bit disappointed, so we give it a 2 out of 5. For the vibe, you couldn't really sit down, so we're going to give it a 2 out of 5 again. And the price was really good. For 6 churros and 1 bueno churro, we only paid €9. Now, if you like your churros a bit sweeter like we do, then we wouldn't recommend it, but if you'd like your churros not that sweet, then it'll definitely be up your alley. Now, if you're Asian like me, you might relate. We definitely need our Asian fix during our European travels, so that's why we discovered Okyo. We didn't see this one on TikTok, but we found it on Google Maps, and we're definitely happy that we found this one. They have an Asian street food market theme with different food stalls. We started off with a crispy duck bao and it was amazing and definitely fixed my craving. Next, I had to order my favorite salmon sushi and it didn't disappoint. Next, we had nasi goreng and it didn't really taste Indonesian but still tasted really good.
Okyo, it's time for our ratings for Okyo. For the taste, it was 4 stars. It was really good. And the vibe with all the decorations and everything, they really set the theme, so we're going to give it 4 stars. And the price was even better at only €38 for everything that we had. We're going to give it 4 stars. We hope you enjoyed the video. We hope it makes your decision making a bit easier on where to go. And comment down below where we should go next, and then subscribe.